Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today and taking some time out of your Wednesday afternoon for the first Weatherization Wednesday of the Button Up Vermont campaign. As people are joining, it'd be great if you could put in the chat, if you're on Zoom, where you're tuning in from and maybe your favorite thing about fall in Vermont. I'm looking out and seeing some beautiful colors and beautiful weather out today. And then if you're coming in on Facebook, feel free to put that in the comments. I'll just give it a minute or so for people to join, but then we'll get started shortly so that we can have enough time at the end for Q&A. We got people from all over the state: Burlington, Winooski, Greensboro, Bradford, Bennington. Love it. Great. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and share my screen and get started. Can everyone see my screen? Maybe a verbal one from Wayne or Anna. Okay, perfect. Great. Great. Okay, well, we can go ahead and get started. Again, thanks everyone for joining. I'm Bekah Kuster. I'm a community engagement manager with Efficiency Vermont, and I'm joined today by my co-host Wayne Thompson, who is senior residential energy auditor at Vermont Gas. Excited to have Wayne here to talk more about VGS's programs. Before I get into the content, I just want to say that one of the attendees on this webinar will be randomly selected to win a $50 gift card to a local hardware store. So we will be doing that drawing after the webinar, but if you're that lucky winner, you'll get an email from us. So be on the lookout for that. Quick overview of the agenda for the next hour. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the Button Up Vermont campaign is, what buttoning up actually means, why we should be weatherizing, how you can get started on a weatherization project, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions and discussion at the end, hoping to keep Wayne's presentation to about 25-30 minutes. If you do have questions, please put your questions in the Q&A here if you're on Zoom, and if you're tuning in from Facebook, you can put your questions in the comments. Alrighty, so Button Up Vermont is an outreach and education campaign to raise awareness of the benefits of weatherization and strategic heating electrification. It's a coalition-supported campaign with a unique brand. So Efficiency Vermont does not own the brand. It's a third-party brand with many partners supporting us, like our utilities, like Vermont Gas, who's here with us today. And the goal of the campaign is really to educate folks about the benefits of weatherization, and we do that through media promotion as well as in-person and virtual educational events like this one today. So when we're talking about buttoning up, what we're really talking about is weatherization. So I want to give a little bit more information about what weatherization is and why it's so important. So when we say weatherization, what we're really talking about is insulation and air sealing, and we like to use this sweater and windbreaker analogy, which some of you may have heard before. So insulation, using this analogy, is a sweater. Some people might think of weatherization and they might just think of the first part, insulation. But if you've ever worn a cable knit sweater outside on a cold day in January, for example, you know that you can kind of feel that cold air come right in between the threads of your sweater. So that's really where air sealing comes in this analogy, our windbreaker, to remove those holes and prevent any cold air from getting in and any hot air from getting out. And the combination of that really keeps us warmer in the winter. Weatherization also works as an insulated cooler in the summer too. So again, sometimes people might just be thinking about the insulation component, our cooler, but we know that if you have a cooler maybe with a weak lid that pops open, it might not stay that well insulated and it won't keep your food very cool. So, and that's because really air movement reduces the effectiveness of insulation. So air sealing, or having a really tight lid on our cooler, helps to remove those holes, prevents cold air from getting out and hot air from getting in. So doing insulation and air sealing together will keep you your cool air in your home and warm air on the outside in the summer, and do the opposite to keep you warmer in your home in the winter. Want to just talk a little bit about building science and how air moves through our home. So whenever a temperature inside a building is different from outside, the building is pressurized, and a pressurized building will leak air wherever there's a hole. All holes in our building will leak, but the ones at the top and the bottom are the ones that leak the most. And that's because of the principle that warm air rises. So when there's holes or leaks in our home, the hot air will escape through the holes in the roof or attic or upper stories, and the cold air and drafts will come in through leaks in the basement and lower stories. And that's something we call the stack effect. And while air can leak in our conditioned area of the home, it's normally the least cost-effective area of the home to insulate. And as I mentioned with our cooler analogy, air movement really reduces the effectiveness of insulation. So it's really important to air seal those leaks in your home. Common leaks can be found all throughout your home in fan vents, attic hatches, your chimneys, recessed lights, outlets, doors and windows, and then again, our basements and attics, and any joints or corners or places where your walls and floors meet. Okay. So understanding, how air moves through our home can help inform how we weatherize. And I mentioned in the previous slide, if some of those areas that commonly leak in our homes, we like to follow the ABCs of weatherization principle to prioritize where to weatherize. Generally, we recommend working with a weatherization contractor to determine the best course of action, just because everyone's home is totally different. But generally speaking, we suggest starting in the attic because that's where most of the warm air escapes. Then to the basement, because that's where most of the cold air enters, as I mentioned, and then finally focused on the conditioned space. So why should we button up Vermont? There's many reasons, one of which is to save money. A comprehensive weatherization project can save Vermont households between $500 and $800 per year on fuel costs. And historically, households have saved about 15% after the project is completed. And this also saves money for Vermont. If you don't know, when we spend money on fossil fuels for heating, about 78% of that leaves the state. So saving money for yourself can also help keep more money in the Vermont economy. So a win-win there. It can also increase comfort. We talked about wearing the sweater and the windbreaker outside is going to make you a lot more comfortable on a cold day in January. And the same is true for your home. And again, it can also help keep your home cooler in the summer months, which we know is really important as it's getting hotter and hotter each summer. It can also help improve the air quality in your home, which can make you and your family be better for you and your family's health. Also can save energy. We like to say that you shouldn't pay to heat the air around your home. That's a waste of money and it's a waste of fuel. So helping to button up our homes can save us energy. Right along with saving energy is reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. The less fuel that we're burning, the fewer pollutants that end up in our atmosphere, which contribute to climate change. And 34% of Vermont's greenhouse gas emissions come from the thermal sector, so heating our buildings, which is the second largest sector behind transportation. So if we want to meet our state climate requirements and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, weatherization is going to play an important piece in that puzzle. So how can you get started on your weatherization project? One thing to note is that contractors right now are really booking up. So if you're wanting to do a weatherization project for your home, you should be reaching out to contractors now. Efficiency Vermont on our website, we have a Find a Pro tool so you can find certified contractors to do your weatherization work. Really suggest calling them sooner than later. You may have to kind of call more than one or call your contractor more than once just because they're really busy. Okay, so how can you get started? There's a number of paths that you can take to complete your weatherization project. If you're income eligible, so if your income falls at or below 80% of median income, you're eligible for free weatherization through the weatherization assistance programs that's administered by our community action agencies in the state. We have comprehensive weatherization programs. Efficiency Vermont offers a program called Home Performance with Energy Star, and Vermont Gas has a home weatherization program for their customers. Efficiency Vermont also has a do-it-yourself weatherization rebate. There are some parts of weatherizing that you can do yourself, and we have a rebate to help cover the cost of those materials. So a little bit more in depth about all of these. So like I said, if you are income eligible, you can receive free weatherization services through your local weatherization agency. If you think you might qualify, definitely give a call to your community action agency, where there's 5 across the state. So if you live in Bennington, for example, your community action agency will be Brock, and you can go ahead and give them a call to see if you qualify and how to take next steps. Like I said, Efficiency Vermont has incentives and rebates. We have our comprehensive program called Home Performance with Energy Star. So if you work with an efficiency excellence network contractor to improve your home's insulation and air sealing, you can get 75% of project costs back, up to $2,000 and up to $5,000 if you're income eligible. And our EEN weatherization contractors, the reason you want to be working with one of those contractors is because they are Building Performance Institute or BPI certified, which means that they'll be knowledgeable about building science, and they'll take a kind of whole building approach to weatherization. So they'll look at how to maximize energy savings, boost your comfort, and keep your home safe and healthy. So in addition to adding adding air sealing and insulation to tighten up your home, they'll make sure to avoid any kind of moisture problems and keep your indoor air healthy. We also offer, like I said, our DIY do-it-yourself weatherization rebate. So if you complete 3 eligible projects, you can receive $100 cash back. And we have all of the full list of projects that can apply towards that rebate on our website. And if any of you folks are doing window dressers, that's a kind of popular program now in Vermont. Each window insert counts as a project. So if you do 3 of those in your home, that can make you eligible to receive the rebate. Want to note that a comprehensive weatherization project is not really a DIY project. So the things that could qualify for DIY are things like weatherizing your windows or weatherizing exterior doors or insulating pipes. Those are great. You can absolutely do those yourself and you can qualify for the DIY rebate. Things that you really want to be working with a qualified contractor through our Home Performance with Energy Star is any kind of comprehensive air sealing in your attics or basements or throughout the house, insulation in your attic and basement or walls, and then anything that has to do with checking your health and safety of your home, you really want to work with a qualified contractor for that. If you're still concerned about the upfront cost of a weatherization project, there are very low interest or no interest financing options available to help pay for your project. So hopefully between incentives and financing, we say you could probably pay for a comprehensive project for about $60 a month. Just want to note DIY projects are not eligible for the home energy loan, but you can actually use up to the 50% of total project costs on some healthy home improvements like mold or pests or some remediation work. And sometimes you might need to do that before doing your weatherization project. So the home energy loan is eligible for that. Okay, now I want to bring Wayne on to join me to talk a little bit about VGS incentives. So thanks, Wayne, for being here, and I'll take it away. I'll go to the next slide. Wayne, you're muted. I'm so sorry. There you go.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
No worries.
Single family homes at 50% rebate, qualifying weatherization projects up to $3,500. So what we do is we do a comprehensive audit on your building, and the $3,500 is a maximum rebate that we allow for that. Income eligible folks receive 75% up to $5,000, and multifamily is 50 to 75% rebate up to $7,500. The 0% financing that we offer for 5 years is through the Green Mountain Credit Union in South Burlington. You have to join the credit union. That program has worked very well with our customers, and it's a local credit union, which turns the request over pretty quickly.
Awesome, thank you. So we're talking about incentives and rebates and things like that, and we have gotten a lot of questions about the Inflation Reduction Act. So just want to talk about it very briefly. We know this is a very exciting time for energy policy, and we're closely following updates on the implementation of the act. But as written, the Inflation Reduction Act directs all funding for efficiency rebate programs through the state energy offices. So for now, we suggest that you contact the Vermont Department of Public Service for the time being with any questions. And as funding becomes available, Efficiency Vermont will definitely communicate with our customers and partners about what, if any, role we have. So just want to address that quickly, and then talk a little bit about what you can do next. So there's a lot of ways to move forward if you're ready to step up summary of kind of the next steps you can take depending on, your level of interest and eligibility for different programs. One of the first steps you can take is you can reach out to Efficiency Vermont's customer support. We have a large customer support team that can really help identify exactly what you qualify for and what makes sense for your home. So that's a great first step if you're not really sure where to start. Another thing you can do is schedule a virtual home energy visit with Efficiency Vermont. So one of our energy consultants will assess your home via video chat or phone, and they'll answer any questions that you have about your home's energy use and look for places that you may be losing energy and suggest improvements so you can make informed decisions about what energy efficiency projects or weatherization projects are right for you. And they can also help connect you to local contractors who can complete the energy upgrades. As I mentioned, there's an error there, but we have a Find a Pro tool, so you can look for contractors on our website and you can search by your area or the kind of contractor you're looking for. You can also, if you're income eligible, again, call your local community action agency to explore free weatherization services. If you're a Burlington Electric Department customer, you can check out their website or call them. They have a lot of different incentives and rebates for efficient products like heat pumps. So if you're thinking of doing weatherization and maybe thinking about installing a heat pump after that as a Burlington resident, they have great rebates. Wayne, I'm going to call on you again to talk a little bit about how VGS customers can take advantage of a home energy evaluation through you all. And unmute again, so sorry.
I'm seeing a lot of questions come through about what is VGS. Well, VGS is Vermont Gas Systems, and Vermont Gas Systems, we're in Addison, Middlebury area, we're Chittenden County, and we're Franklin County. So everybody has an idea of where we're located and the area that we serve. Now the request, we have two separate tiers of products. We have like a home that doesn't use a lot of energy. We'd have an energy coach go visit them. It may be virtually, it may be going to the home to take a look at it. And then we have the comprehensive energy audit for somebody that uses a lot of energy, that actually makes it worth our while to go and take a look and benefit the customer in a whole lot, in a much better way. We can look at the whole house. We're looking at insulation in the sills, insulation in the foundation, walls, attic hatches, all the same stuff that Efficiency Vermont does with their home performance contractors, for the most part.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we got through most of the content. I just want to note that we have 3 more Weatherization Wednesdays happening throughout the campaign and through the month of October. These are every Wednesday from noon to 1. The first one is obviously today. We have the next one on October 12th, where we're going to bring in an Efficiency Vermont energy expert to answer some of your questions about weatherizing your home. So talking about some common questions and then opening it up for a discussion. October 19th, we have a deep dive on how to finance your weatherization project. And then finally, on October 26th, we're going to talk about how you can use heat pumps for your whole home. So that's what you can look forward to. You can go to the buttonupvermont.org website to register for all of them and get the link to register. And again, they'll all be streaming live on Facebook as well. We also have some events happening. Our participating communities, along with our campaign partners, are hosting several events throughout the campaign. We have one on October 15th in the Northeast Kingdom, Weatherization for All. It's going to be a great event. It's at the Old Stone House and Museum in Brownington, Vermont. It's going to be a great event, a beautiful venue, opportunity to network, and a great panel discussion with many partners, and a raffle to win some prizes. There's a workshop coming up with Brock Community Action and Green Saving Smart, which is a relatively new financial energy coaching program. So they'll be talking all things weatherization. Our very own Brad Long is hosting a weatherization event in Brattleboro at the Brooks Memorial Library. Brandon Energy Committee is hosting their own DIY training with a certified BPI contractor. So lots of other events to look forward to. There'll be more posted on the website. So keep checking the website and see if there's an event happening near you. Before we wrap up, I just want to note all the great partners who make this campaign possible. We have all of our utilities, including VGS, who we're thankful to have here today. We have all of our nonprofit organizations, our community action agencies, our great regional planning commissions across the state. And last but not least, we have all of our participating communities. We have 22 participating communities and counting. These are our town energy committees who are helping spread the word at the local level and hosting events in their communities. So with that, thanks so much for joining. We're going to open it up for questions and I'll stop sharing my screen. I wasn't able to access the chat, so I'm seeing there's a lot of questions coming in to the Q&A and chat. So I'm going to have my colleague Anna help me navigate this and get to as many questions as possible.
Sorry, Becca, I just unmuted.
No worries. No worries.
There's one question about from Amy who asks about putting heat pumps in homes that are older than 40 years because they don't have sufficient R value, I'm assuming in the insulation. I don't know if maybe Wayne could speak to this or maybe Robin, but I believe we do usually recommend if you don't have sufficient insulation and air sealing, doing that first before getting heat pumps, so you're not letting the air that you're heating leak outside, and being able to size the heat pumps appropriately for your house. But we can also connect you with one of our experts to talk about that more in detail.
I think that was a great answer, but I'll definitely open up. Robin is here as well, one of our colleagues from Efficiency Vermont, who is an expert. And then we also have Wayne. So if any of you have anything else to add to that, please do.
I would recommend that if you're thinking about heat pumps, that being that you already have the existing heating system in place and it's working, that the heat pumps can still help you out in these swing seasons this time of year, and it's the spring. Obviously, insulation and air sealing is very important, and you'll be able to probably go a little longer with your heat pumps to heat the home if it's insulated better. But I wouldn't remove the old heating system until the place is insulated fully.
Great.
I have nothing to add. Wayne covered it.
Great, awesome. What else is coming in?
I see a question from Susan Schulman about being a Vermont resident and using specific rebate programs. And I don't know if you can clarify the nature of that question. Do you have a residence in Vermont and do you not live here full time? It might be helpful just to get some background to help answer your question. Oh, I see that you have, you say that a virtual home energy visit will not work for you due to your poor internet connection. We do have phone call options for that assessment as well. So you're welcome to sign up for a virtual home energy visit, and they can serve you over the phone. But also, if you feel comfortable sharing with us kind of your situation in terms of Vermont residency, feel free to message me and I can help sort out your questions.
Great, thanks, Robin.
Then we have some other questions. Lauren asked about having a flow chart that helps determine who you might contact for benefits and incentives at your income level. I actually would recommend calling our customer support line, and I believe that's part of our slide deck today. So feel free to call one of our experts and they can walk you through what's available to you. Otherwise, there is a lot of information on our website in terms of income eligible bonuses and different programs. But if you want to kind of have someone guide you through that experience, our customer support representatives are top-notch experts, so highly recommend calling them. I see a question from Mary Moriarty to Wayne. I can read that out loud, Wayne, if that's helpful.
That'll be great.
Great. She has a question about becoming a VGS customer for the purposes of weatherization, even if she's not in the area to be a gas customer.
Well, we only perform audits for folks that are in our gas territory that are on our gas line using natural gas. It would be Efficiency Vermont's programs outside of that.
Gotcha.
Hopefully I answered that properly.
Yeah, and Mary, we have on our website a tool called Find a Pro or Contractor, and our Efficiency and Excellence Network contractors can provide audit services as well. So just a little bit of a different service delivery, but you know, essentially similar services being provided. Okay. Nanette has a question about weatherizing crawl spaces. Nanette highly recommend signing up for a virtual home energy visit, as though those will really help serve your specific questions about what you can do in your own home. And I see further information from Susan. I can message you directly, Susan.
I'm seeing a question in the Q&A from James. It says, who would I speak to have a short virtual presentation at my town committee meeting? I don't know if you're an energy committee meeting or a different committee, but we have community engagement managers. I'm not the only one. We have one, Brad Long and Michelle McCutcheon-Shore, who can give presentations to committees. So depending on where you are, we cover different areas. You can definitely call our customer support and request that, and it can get to us, and we can make sure that we're at a committee meeting of yours to give a virtual presentation if that's helpful.
Wayne, I'm seeing a couple of questions in the chat about VGS services. The first is, what is the fee for an energy audit with VGS?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that.
Oh, sorry. It's, what is the fee for an energy audit with VGS?
The fee is free. If you're a Vermont gas customer, you qualify for a energy assessment or an energy audit.
And then Jeffrey asked, is there any income eligibility requirements for the VGS 0% financing for up to 5 years?
The 0% financing qualifies for any work that we deem cost effective. When we do an energy audit on the particular building or structure, all of that would qualify for the 0% for 5 years. The credit union, when the customer decides to move forward, we send that information to the customer. They approve it. We send that information to the credit union, and then they'll approve the loan. But that loan is a commitment from VGS to VGS customers at 0% for 5 years at that point.
I see some very specific questions in this chat about specific home renovations and weatherization questions. For all of those of you who have those questions, I highly recommend reaching out to customer support and also scheduling a virtual home energy visit. We also, as Bekah noted, we'll have a webinar coming up, a Weatherization Wednesday, focused on kind of specific homeowner questions. Not to say that we can't get back to you about your questions today, but they may be best directed towards our technical experts at Efficiency Vermont. But we will record them and get answers to you, or at least connect you to those services. But we may not be able to answer really specific questions about types of insulation and specific home features on today's Weatherization Wednesday.
I'm seeing a question from Susan about contractors, and there's not that many contractors available in Orleans County. And you said, I assume this would not be eligible for rebates. So for the home performance with Energy Star rebate, you do need to be working with one of the EEN contractors. So if that's not an EEN contractor, yes, that's correct. You would not be eligible for the rebate. I'm not sure about. Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, and I can happen. And Susan, there is one contractor that I can connect you with that may be able to serve you. And they have a model, and this does exist in other areas of Vermont as well, where someone does essentially the testing for the weatherization project, but partners with someone who's not in our network to do the work. So there may be opportunities if you already have a selected contractor for that contractor to partner with one of our Efficiency Excellence Network contractors. So let's touch base after today's call to see what options we can help you access. And I see a question about what the fee is for anyone to get a comprehensive energy audit as a WEC customer. So I will note that Efficiency Vermont's program allows contractors to offer services independently of Efficiency Vermont setting specific prices. So cost of audits can vary from contractor to contractor, but typically land at around, I would say, $300 to $500. Some are cheaper, but that's kind of a good range to keep in mind. And if you do move forward with a weatherization project, that cost can be counted towards your incentives. So we essentially help cover the cost of that audit if you're moving forward with the weatherization project. All right, I see the same question. How much is a home energy audit? I also see how does a virtual home energy visit work? That's a great question. So you can sign up on the Efficiency Vermont website, and there's a link to essentially a scheduling application where you can select a date and time that works for you. Our energy consultant will either call you or set up a virtual meeting so that they can do a virtual walkthrough through your home if that's what you so choose. You can also just use that time to have a face-to-face meeting to ask them any questions that you may have, but they'll also kind of do a walkthrough with you if you don't have specific questions, talking about different areas of your home where you could gain the most efficiency. After the visit, they will send you a summary of all of the points of the conversation and ways to move forward with the things that you mentioned that you're interested in. And then you can also ask them any other questions you may have after the visit. So that is essentially the flow for a virtual home energy visit.
Great. I just put the link in the chat too, so hopefully you can click on that.
Awesome.
Sign
Thank
up.
you, Bekah.
Yeah.
I see Susan D has a question about how to ask for advice and not an audit. Highly recommend contacting customer support or signing up for that virtual home energy visit. That would be probably the best way to get specific questions answered. I see a question from Hal on whether or not a new high efficiency oil furnace can qualify for 0 or low interest loans. We do not at this time have an available loan for high efficiency oil furnaces, but some of our program partners may offer attractive financing for this. So I think NeighborWorks in Vermont State Employees Credit Union, so VSECU, may have options for you, but Efficiency Vermont does not specifically have any low interest loans for oil based heating equipment.
I'm seeing a question in the Q&A from Nanette saying, is Capstone the best starting place for Orange County? It seems that a lot of the benefits, I am out of the local area. Are you talking about the free weatherization services? I just want to clarify before answering that, unless Robin or Wayne, or Robin, you have any answer to that? We can move forward and see if the response.
I see a question from H. Olson. Is an audit required, or can you get rebates without it? We don't specify that a full-blown audit is necessary for accessing rebates, but we do require basic testing at the front end and the back end of the project because the Home Performance with Energy Star program is based on a 10% air leakage reduction. So the contractors need to be able to measure that before and after snapshot to make sure that the improvements that were made on your home are eligible for rebates. And I will say they are very good at doing so. They're experts in their field, so they can, with a good level of confidence, assess whether your home has that level of work that can be completed that would qualify for rebates.
We've heard back from Nanette saying, yes, the weatherization services. I guess I'm having a hard time understanding what you mean by that you're out of the, or the benefits, you're out of the local area. And I guess, Robin, you maybe can't see this question. It's coming in through the Q&A, but.
Yeah, can you just repeat kind of the full blown?
Yeah, says, is Capstone the best starting place for Orange County? It seems that for a lot of the benefits, I am out of the local area. This is for the free weatherization services.
Gotcha. If you think you may be income qualified, I would definitely start with contacting the local weatherization agency program. It's a good idea to get your bearings and to see if that's a pathway for you. So I would say that could be a great starting point. How do you find out if previously blown in insulation has asbestos? That would have to be removed. And is there any financial help for that if needed? June, I highly recommend again the virtual home energy visit. One of our energy consultants may be able to help you assess whether or not that might be a factor for you. And then in terms of financial help, I believe there are resources that are available in terms of like recovery funds. But again, I would highly recommend you connect with one of our technical experts. As Bekah mentioned, we also do have the home energy loan where 50% of project costs can be health and safety measures. So that might be helpful for you to access if you do want to move forward with your project and you do find that there's asbestos. H. Olson, thank you for that, that link. I think we're fairly caught up with maybe the exception of the folks who had very specific questions about your homes, which again, happy to follow up to get you answers and or connect you with services and people who can really help you nail down the specifics of your own home.
I see Susan's asking for, oh, sorry. Susan's
Yeah.
asking for the phone number to customer support and virtual home energy visit. Maybe Anna or someone else can put that in there quickly. If not, I can grab that.
And I see Sarah has a question of how else can you document the minimum 10% improvement other than pre and post blower door test and a full audit. The pre and post blower door test is the essentially entry point. So that may not be a full-blown audit, but it is the diagnostic testing that is essentially required that contractors do at the front end of a project in order to measure that. So that's part of the program requirements. Monica, good to know. Good feedback. And yes, I will say that customer service, if you're feeling overwhelmed on the website and where to start, is a great place to just kind of name what you're looking to do, and then they can help point you in the right direction. Or feel free to reach out to myself or Bekah, and we can help you point you in the right direction in terms of like where you'd like to get started. Sarah, that depends on which contractor you're working with. It can vary, but usually, again, it's around that several $100 mark. And again, that would count for incentives if you do move forward with the weatherization project. So that is something that Efficiency Vermont can help support if you are moving forward with weatherization. Oh, and Wayne.
Great.
I see Wayne has entered in the VGS customer service line. And Wayne, I think that you put that to the host and the panelists. So I'm just going to paste that in the chat so that everyone has it. But thank you for providing that.
Thank you.
Good catch. I don't know if we're getting any questions from Facebook Live, but definitely if they're coming in, maybe Anna, you can let us know.
I see one that just came in the Q&A. Will a virtual assessment or call cover all of the future topics of your Weatherization Wednesdays? Robin might know better. I think the virtual home energy assessment might at a high level cover things like, would a heat pump be good for you, or financing, but we'll probably go a little more in depth on the Weatherization Wednesdays. The next one, next Wednesday, is the top questions that we tend to hear from customers. And so a lot of those are informed or inspired by things that come up on the virtual home energy visits. So that might be of interest.
I'd agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always do both.
Yes.
Don't see anything else coming in, but please feel free to keep putting your questions in the Q&A or chat.
Sarah asked a question, who is speaking and answering the questions. That has been me in some cases. But I am just stating that there's kind of a range of costs, and it's ultimately up to the contractor that you are looking to work with to determine what you're interested in, what costs they would charge for different services. So it's hard to nail down because we're allowing the contractors to set their prices. So there are different costs for different services, and I would recommend reaching out to several contractors to get pricing if you're interested in energy audits or just blower door tests. All I am meaning to convey is that there's a range, and that's something that Efficiency Vermont relies on the contractors to establish based on their business needs. Susan, I'm not sure I fully understand the nature of your question. There's different types of income eligible support. So there are different levels of support depending on what your income level is. So if you are interested in talking about that offline, happy to help answer questions about, you know, what's available.
I can help somewhat on the landlord question. With Vermont Gas, when the tenants are paying the heat, the landlord has no real incentive to do efficiency work. So we boost the efficiencies or the percentages to a landlord in order to entice them to move forward with the weatherization projects. So it benefits the tenants.
And I'm seeing a note from Sarah, and I'm confirming with Anna and Allison that there's an interest in having access to the chat. I believe
we can save a copy of the chat. I think as a participant, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, I think at the bottom there's like a 3. Wait, maybe that's not true. I thought there was a way you could save your own copy of the chat, but either way, we can save a copy. Anna, can we send that around to people?
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to send that around to the attendees list.
Yes, you can. We'll definitely save a copy of it, so all the answers you'll have.
I see a question from June. Yes, you're correct that you can opt to, during your virtual home energy visit, walk around with your laptop or iPhone to show specific things in your home. That is an option, or you can just kind of use that time as a face-to-face meeting with the energy consultant to answer any specific questions you have. Really, we're trying to serve anyone who's interested in that offering with whatever meets their needs. I see a question from Jeffrey in one of your early slides. You said that window dressings qualify as an efficiency improvement. Do you mean insulated curtains or cellular blinds? The answer to that is yes. There is a specific product called window dressers, and this is essentially a insert that you put in your window that helps to insulate your window It's an entire kind of nonprofit organization that organizes builds across Vermont. It's a great organization, very grassroots. They do a lot of great outreach. And we at Efficiency Vermont will look at that type of technology and honor that for a DIY rebate, but we also will provide rebates for other types of technologies that do a similar thing. So that could include insulated curtains and cellular blinds. I see a question from Virginia Parker on, I know you have shared 80% of median level. What is that? I imagine that you're asking potentially what the weatherization assistance program kind of thresholds are. I believe that those are on the weatherization assistance program websites. Perhaps we can put that in the chat, or else we can certainly put in the chat the numbers that you might be able to ask for the specifics on that. We at Efficiency Vermont do have on our website information about thresholds for 120% of area median income, which is our threshold for income eligible rebates through Efficiency Vermont. But if you're looking for weatherization assistance program specifics, we can certainly get that to you. I think I see another question from Sarah about copying the chat, but I believe that we're going to be able to provide the chat history for you.
Yes, correct. We can do that.
Okay. Are there specific suggestions for crank out windows as window dressers won't work? Great question. Kim, I will get back to you on that one. It might be a great question for a virtual home energy visit. Just gonna plug that again. Does Weatherize have a consistent income scale across all their discount, rebate, or incentives, or do the income thresholds change per project type? It sounds like that might be a question to direct to the Weatherization Assistance Program. We do have our income thresholds on our website. So if you're interested in looking at that, you are certainly welcome to. And for Efficiency Vermont programs, it is the same across all programs. So there are consistent thresholds for income eligibility at Efficiency Vermont. Do you encourage heat pumps for water heating? Just had one installed. Very pleased. Cool. Awesome. Yes, heat pump water heaters are encouraged. Can confirm. We have more information on those on our website, and I'm going to ask that Anna paste that in the chat. But good. Thank you for sharing, Karen. Certainly love to see it when people are happy with their higher efficiency units. Okay. Susan has some feedback about the website. Noted. What is the Sarah has noted that she is involved in the Heartland and Hartford build for window dressers. I believe the question was regarding if window dressers referred to other types of technology. So I think we may have addressed that question. Kim said that she spoke to customer service and they were great and scheduled the virtual home energy visit. Awesome to know, Kim. Thank you for that feedback. I think we're all caught up again.
Great. I was just going to put a link. Oh, there we go. Anna already put it in. The link to the heat pump water heater rebate. Oh, we got two of them. Lovely. Check Q&A, see if there's anything in there. Looks like we answered all of them. We have 10 more minutes, so keep them coming. Water heating guide from Anna.
I've got a question that I'd like to ask. The panel is on heat pump water heaters. If a customer has an oil water heater, oil fired water heater or water tank, does anybody do a cost savings assessment on what it would be if they went over to electric? You know, like there's a lot of people out there that have oil-fired water heaters that are out of Vermont gas territory. And if they put one in, if they put a heat pump water heater in, what is the actual savings estimates going to be toward that with today's prices?
That's a
Because
good
to me,
question, Wayne.
I think that'd be very attractive to people to know that. And there may be I'm pretty sure there was something out with electric water heaters that currently exist. But a reminder to folks to have them look at that. Just to give an idea of what the savings are going to be as electric rates go up and oil prices are going up. Might be a good time to just put a plug in for the heat pump water heaters.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, what the savings are. I don't know, Robin, if you have an answer, but definitely a good question.
I think it depends, but I do not have a specific answer on that one.
I'm seeing a question, Carmen asking if is income based on gross or net? Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is gross income.
I'm going
at least
to
for our
paste,
programs.
yeah, I'm going to paste in the chat the direct link to our website that shows essentially how we determine income eligibility, just so that you have it.
And it's gross with Vermont gas too.
Great. Lauren asked, where can you find more information on window dressers? I can put the website link in. And since Sarah is doing a window dressers build, she might have some more information too. And that's saying, thank you for all the links. I'm adding them to my favorites to research. That's great. We did put a lot of links.
And again, you know, for those of you who kind of want direct information about your questions and may not be interested in navigating the website, certainly call customer support. They are happy to speak with you, lovely people, and will be happy to answer any and all questions. They really are superb. Firstly, Karen, thank you for the feedback. It's awesome. It's wonderful to see when people can share about their experiences and kind of what savings they're experiencing. It's always awesome to see and hear. I see a question from H. Olson about loan and financing. We do have a printable resource. And again, I'm going to call on Anna to potentially put that out in the chat because we do have kind of like monthly payments based on different project costs and rates. So that might be helpful for you. I see that there's another question from Eric, or I'm sorry, a point from Eric about a window insert product called Indo. So that might be worth checking out for those of you who are interested. Oh, and Bekah posted the link to the different, the cheat sheet on home energy loan costs.
Great, we have a few more minutes, so definitely we can answer probably one or two more questions before we wrap up. I'm not seeing anything else as of now.
Well, I've got a question about the window dressings.
Go for it.
Do they apply to French doors and sliding glass doors?
That is a good question. Robin unmuted, so maybe she has an answer.
I refer to all of the window dressers. I defer to all of the, oh, Kim has answered. There is a size limit. And Kim, is it correct that someone can like kind of marry up several window dressers units to cover a larger window or door size? I'd heard that from someone in, I believe, Glover recently.
I will just note that they are custom, like they're measured. So a measuring team will come in and measure your windows. They're custom made for your specific window. I don't know about the sizing. I guess there's a limit, but that's how it works. Yeah, that might be something to follow up with window dressers about.
Well, it could be a missed opportunity. That's why I asked.
Oh, we have an answer. Bill says window dresser units can be combined to cover large openings, but if the, oh, I ran out. But if the door is used, must have air brake at key spots. That makes sense.
And Sarah has provided a link to window dressers, which is great. Thank you.
Great. Saying that it might not work for all windows from Susan and Kim.
Crank out windows, I'm not sure, but if the handles are removed, I think you can still use that particular dressing because the mechanical device is still recessed into the window casing. So I'm not sure of that, but it's something that you would have to take the handles off.
Maybe one last question and then we can wrap up. If there's anyone coming in.
My last question is, Bekah, what's your favorite fall? Part of fall?
I'm really enjoying the changing leaves. I know it's not supposed to, or said it's not as good as previous years, and that might be true, but I have a very beautiful view outside my window. So I like seeing all the different colors, the trees, and the weather is beautiful. So yeah.
Fair.
Thanks for that. Okay, I think we can go ahead and wrap up. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah, Peter says to check in with your local build coordinators for window dressers. Lots of window questions. Those are more comments. Okay, I think we can wrap up. I just want to thank Wayne Thompson for again joining us from VGS and Robin for doing a great job answering all those questions. And for everyone who's joining, again, this is recorded. We will make sure to get a copy of the chat to you all and hope that you will join us for the next 3 Weatherization Wednesdays happening throughout the month. And with that, I think we'll close it out. Thanks so much, everyone.